Let's walk through what's coming up in this God of the Moon update.
Well, we already know Tsukuyomi.
First off, we have Tsukuyomi. How's he been looking so far on PTS?
Yeah, so people played him. Overall, really good feedback. We got feedback that he felt really smooth, felt really solid, did all the things we were supposed to. And that was even without a lot of stuff that we knew we still needed to get. So I know VFX got a lot of things.
Yeah, he had a few bugs too.
Over that time, I've done a few fixes this morning. It was funny because we actually did our final build, and then Final K sent me a list of like, here's a few things I found. And like, you're like literally 12 minutes after we hit the final build button, but we had to do another build, so we're actually going to get those things in. So just lots of small things, nothing really major. I think the only big note is he looked really strong on PTS. As fun as it would be to redo his release from Smite 1, where he was really, really, really overpowered, we are going to do a preemptive nerf, and it's actually to the int side of things. Okay. So the
good
nerfs are
over the nerf is auto attack 3.
When you have more int. That gives like 30% bonus damage to the final swing, both in scaling and the base. That's been reduced to 20%. And then the Mangetsu range attacks, the kind of white silver range attacks.
Yeah. Mangetsu is the
really
3,
scaling,
which is
0.75,
definitely going to need the nerf.
That's not going to go down to 65%.
Okay.
So it won't kill the playstyle. It'll still probably be pretty strong, but like let's just preemptively take the edge off if people are identifying that felt strong on PTS.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit too strong. And then coming on the 12th of September, we will have an aspect coming for Tsukuyomi as well, which leans more into this kind of ranged poke, mid-laney, solo laney, maybe Vampire Soul.
I think we just
new set of and orange as it swaps.
The wave that was like,
but they haven't gone to the actual patch notes yet. Oh,
junglers
perfect timing.
What they were doing before, and then we've adjusted some of the stats and rewards just to compensate.
Fire imps are considered bosses.
Along with that, we did a few other things that are going to change how the soul laner interacts, so they have other options as well. And then we also did a jungle monster adjustment just so that people can position monsters appropriately.
Awesome. And then
after this I will
question, and I need to go double check this, but the idea is that Devos is supposed to only get those bonus stacks from killing bosses when it's evolved. So if it doesn't do that, I will go and fix that before it goes live.
Okay.
But that was the intent of this changes. Yeah, if you were to get Devos and rush it stacked really fast and then kill these things, you get some extra value out of it. But by the time that those fire imps are even on the map and still valid, it's going to be less. It's not intended that you're just going to be able to kill one of these and immediately stack up your Devos as a soul laner.
Yeah, because Fire Giant spawns 15 minutes.
Kind of crazy.
So,
yes, 15 minutes.
So you're only going to get Fire Giants or Fire Imps until the Fire Giant spawns.
Yeah, I think I did the rough math with Flare, and it's like you probably get like, if you're really optimal, you might get 2 respawns of this. And that also assumes that you're controlling the lane enough to be able to also just get these things.
Yeah. Awesome. And did you talk about the lane minion proxy protection? Sorry, I was reading chat.
I briefly mentioned it. That's the other thing for soul laners is
really good for solo.
One, it also just gives soul laners flexibility of how they want to leverage their lead. One way is fire imps. The other way would be that you can actually proxy.
Unless you're like a full damage character, you can't even proxy.
Laner, and it frees you up to go potentially rotate to mid. The protection just kind of was essentially there to mitigate the proxying the first wave, second, third wave, but it lasted for a long time, and so now we've just reduced it out, so it's only after 5 minutes.
Awesome. God balance.
Yeah, so this is the first time we're talking about God balance.
Yeah, so this should be all new to chat. And the first thing we have on this list here is for Ares.
She's back
to his ultimate No Escape.
This bug was ridiculous.
Where targets who were displacement immune were having it canceled and being pulled instead.
Yes. So essentially what it does is it silences you while you're being pulled, but the silence was happening first, so it would actually cancel your displacement immunity and therefore pull you. If you're displacement immune, you're not.
Crazy bug.
Okay.
So this is a fix.
All right. Well, that's good.
And I think there's also some knock-ons about displacement with Yorm that are also being addressed about Yorm's displacement immunity is actually a tier up from everyone else's displacement immunity because banishes aren't displacement. So there's some subtle things going on in the background of there too, but
no,
this
Ares
is
is still
broken. Are
broken.
Most notice.
For Wheelish, she was very strong for a long time, but we nerfed her a lot, and now she's really weak. So we're reverting some of the previous changes partially to help her find a better spot.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We are increasing the strength and basic attack power bonus on her passive from 25 to 30%. On her 2, we are increasing the damage multiplier based on the basic attack chain from 1,
That's kind of a
1.2,
big
1.8 times to 1, 1.35, 1.9 times.
Yes. So just this is a partial over. It's still weaker than the state for each of these was before. But we just, especially after a base stat adjustment, she really, really fell off. So we think
crazy
she has
that
to come back up.
Still not all the way brought back.
Bologna.
She's still going to be pretty bad, but
her 3 is now properly tagged as a healing ability and should respect procs of items like Heartward.
Yeah, so mainly the cooldown reduction to be able to double cast this is the big thing that this is going to fix.
Hecate will be seeing a shift
Scourge
to her Spell Eater 2 increasing the base damage from 70 to 250 to 80 to 280. We're increasing the intelligence scaling from 40 to 50%, and we decreased the increase per spell eaten from 10% to 7.5%. So in general, this means that it will hit harder at lower charges with a slightly reduced top end, letting her have more consistent pressure as a mage.
Kind of a
yeah,
big
when we
buff
make
to
spells like this,
Hecate.
that have really, really high variance, we kind of have to figure out what the variant should be for this ability. And we can there's a world where like you go really, really, really high on the variance, which is I think what this one was, and there's a world where like you tone it down so it can still hit really, really hard when you actually get it maxed out, but it's a bit more usable when you are in the situations where you just kind of need to like throw it up in the air and immediately use it because you're trying to pick someone off who's really low health to try to get away. This just brings it closer. It still has a really big range, but this is just going to make it a better ability overall.
Awesome. Next up, we have Giannis. What's going on with Giannis? Before I scroll down, because chat's losing their mind, the fact that they can see Giannis buff peeking through the bottom here.
Yes.
Just
I feel like this god still
overview.
sucks.
How's Giannis doing?
Released really weak. We gave him some buffs. He's now better, but he's still probably like he's a character who's always going to be sub 50% win rate. If he's at 50% win rate, everyone's going to be clamoring for us to nerf him a ton because he's just going to be really, really oppressive at that win rate. So we know it's going to be lower, but he's still below where we want. So we have a few other buffs
sitting
in
like
here
45%
just to kind of help
win
bring
rate?
him up, and it's largely focused around like making sure that his ult in particular hits really hard when you use it, because that's a really big wind-up ability. We want that to really chunk. And then he also has some mana concern.
He does
problems.
kind of run out of mana.
I think we're still in discussions internally about how we want to deal with mana and how mana influences
Cool.
the early game.
Yeah.
I'm glad they're still
Giannis is
talking about
currently
that.
an outlier, and he has to really use all of his abilities to clear the wave every single time. So he's under a lot more mana pressure than every other character in the game, and we're just going to take the edge off that.
So first thing we're doing is we're decreasing the mana cost of his unstable vortex from 70 to 90 to
Not
60
like a
to
massive
80.
buff, but
Secondly, the threshold. We're decreasing the mana cost from 60 to 80 to 50 to 70.
and then
And
space
his
and time.
ultimate, we are increasing the intelligence scaling from 80 to 90. We are increasing the max distance intelligence scaling from 100% to 110%. And we are fixing an issue where
what?
bonuses from items like Rod of Tahuti
Wait, this
were
is
not
gonna
contributing to this
jump.
projectile's damage.
Yeah, Rod Tahuti's bonus intelligence that it provides was just actually not contributing to this at all.
Well, that could have an impact considering Rod of Tahuti is a very
Yes.
important item right now.
So ult's gonna just chunk a lot harder in general, even with just the bug fix.
Dude, you're
going
gonna
to
get smacked by this ult now. Late game.
Yeah. So that is the changes to Giannis. Next
Yorm.
to Yorm, we have a buff
is me.
and a fix.
This is me.
Yorm, I've
Oh,
heard
not that
has
one.
been doing very poorly.
Yes, he's another underpowered release. Tsukuyomi will correct this, of course. He'll come in and just be like,
Yeah.
wait, he'll make up the difference. So
Okay.
so for 3 releases, we'll be back to 50.
Sounds good.
But yeah, no, he released underwhelming. Mostly it was related to a few
Bugs.
some bugs that we've already fixed that have gone live. I think we've noted that which one of those are actually on here. But we just think that he has room to go up. Has less mobility. He's really big, and we just need to do some more balance work to make sure that he worked. And then we had a few things that we need to clean up, like in restricted camera pitch in particular, you couldn't cast one of his abilities as far, which means that he has a lot less range poke that's reliable. So fixes and buffs here are going to help him overall.
Okay, so for Yorm, his passive, immovable. We are
4 to 6
increasing the enemy poison debuff duration from 4 seconds to 6 seconds, increasing the max health scaling from 5% to 6%, and increasing the strength scaling from 100% to 115%.
Yeah, so what this is the as you attack, you build up poison on a target. That you'll last on targets longer. It'll contribute more of your health scaling, and it's also going to increase more of your strength scaling. So if you're going like super high health, or you're going super high basic attack damage, this pass is going to just hit a lot harder. So that build path is being better supported.
His Venomous Haze. We've increased the range from 10.4 to 12. This was included in a hotfix.
This is
and
what
was a
I
parody
complained
miss
about.
from Smite 1.
Yes, this should, I believe, already be live. Clumsy, you would know better. I know you're in chat because I see you.
Yes.
But yeah, I believe this is already in the game.
And his 3, we have increased the knockup height by 20%. And this also affects the aspect.
And the aspect's knockup is already
one
huge.
thing that he was lacking was just like the ability to control fights a lot better, and especially on the aspect side of things, where like he needs more control to be able to contribute to like his team as a more supportive character. This just means he can actually lock down a target more effectively.
Pretty sure his ult was
And
bugged
lastly,
too.
his 4 fixed an issue where this ability was not going to max range if not on restricted camera pitch.
Yep. So so not on restricted camera pitch, you couldn't aim this as far as you were supposed to be able to.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, which is funny because we got some reports of people saying like you can aim the ult as far, and then when we launch up editor defaults to restricted camera pitch on because that's like the default settings.
Yep.
So we're just like using it. We're like,
It's fine. Yeah.
Finally, someone did find the issue that was happening because we saw a good video of it, but Yeah.
That was me.
Mulan. Chad is losing their minds.
Mulan buff.
We have a buff to Training Grounds. Her
No
passive
way, we're
consumable.
buffing Mulan.
Yeah, so probably a little bit of a preamble for this.
Okay, sorry. Scroll back up.
So this is for the passive consumable. We did not remove it. Removing it would involve us coming up with a completely new thing and replacing it, and that is just something that we don't have the bandwidth for. It's why we haven't really done anything with this passive consumable. I think we're still on the boat of we want to at some point change the +1 that we've added, but that doesn't mean if we have a good idea that isn't super hard to implement that we can just leave. We could make Mulan better. In the meantime.
Okay.
That's what this is for, is to make this consumable overall feel better to use, feel like it goes more into your gameplay style, make it a stronger +1 than it currently is. We will probably still revisit it in the future. This does not mean we won't.
Okay. So for her passive consumable, we are decreasing the cooldown from 180 to 90 seconds.
Yep.
We are increasing the XP and movement speed radius from 5.5 to 11 meters. The tooltip said it was 11 meters radius, but it was 11 meters diameter. We are making it 11 meters radius, giving Mulan more control over where she can place it and benefit from it, while defending it to keep its effects active.
Yeah, if you're familiar with like Omnus and Hive, that's more the playstyle that this feels like now. You can kind of place it in a defensive area. You can kind of guard it more effectively. It contributes more to you in a bigger range. That's more what this is.
It is a lot of movement speed.
We have fixed the tooltip, stating it gave speed to allies within 160 meters. This was and is intended to be 25 meters. We have increased the movement speed from 5 to 10%. This includes the minimum for allies running towards the banner. We have removed the XP bonus, and we have added, while she is in the training grounds, her training arc passive is always active.
So her training arc passive is your like after every like 10 seconds, your next ability cast has reduced cooldown. While you're in the flag, you will always, all your abilities will always have that reduced cooldown.
Yeah. So you're getting a
that's
pretty significant cooldown buff on everything if you're fighting while
like
you're
2
in your
seconds
flag.
off.
Yes, which also will mean that you can cast your abilities more, which means you can train them more, which means that you can
on every ability
get the more experience for your thing. It actually, I think, fits better with the training grounds feel. And this one again was something we could add and make it feel
that's
better.
2 seconds off on
if she
every
can
ability
stay in the flag and defend it, then it's going to be really good. Enemies, you'll probably actually want to try and focus this down more often.
Kind of crazy.
And then for her Divine Mastery, we also have some changes. We have increased protections while firing from 30 to 40%.
Irrelevant.
We have increased the arrow base damage from 175 to 375 to 180 to 540.
Yeah, that is a pretty massive jump.
Jeez.
And
that's huge.
It is pretty big. The reason
you cancel this all the time.
We got feedback that essentially a lot of people are just canceling.
Yeah, you
right
just cancel it all the time.
Into the knockup. The damage wasn't worth it to continue to keep yourself locked in.
Yeah.
Most of the time you just cancel the
you'd rather just cancel it, start using another ability, 3 them so that you could actually continue the CC chain. And if that's the case, that means the damage isn't worth it.
Yeah.
So we're going to make the damage worth it.
So you now have the benefit. If you spend the extra second or so to fire the arrow,
I wonder how OP Glad Shield would be with Mulan now.
And
Yo,
then,
thank you for the
45
gifted
damage
sub mail. Welcome,
that's
Light Rose.
That's
welcome.
I'm going to guess it's 445.
There you go.
It's probably it's 450.
450? Okay.
It's a skill check. It's testing reading comprehension. You're supposed to skip that range.
Awesome. So hopefully that will help the Mulan enjoyers feel a little bit better.
And there is something else on here. Someone gave us feedback on the PTS about how there's often the banner will consume
Thank you for the
your
gifted
inventory
again,
items.
Mayo.
So the case that will happen is like
we get some
you
hype
have
in the
a
chat for the
potion
board,
and multi-potion
Mayo.
and you swap them. The banner would be like, oh, you guys are changing your inventory. I'm going to try and inject myself in here, and it would actually like delete one of your items. Same thing if you pick things like, say, if you picked up a ward off a camp, like the Cyclops camp, that could also cause a deletion there. That should be fixed.
Okay.
That's crazy bug.
The system is pretty complicated. I tried to test as best I can. Keep an eye out on it.
Please keep an eye out.
Send me bug reports.
Dude, I want to play a Mulan game
we
now.
need those. Next, Susano will be getting a nerf to his Typhoon, which is his ultimate. It now requires a full charge to apply.
It should have been in the game on release.
Yes.
I don't know why Susano is
this was one that
especially
Ambassadors kind of pushed
to do
for
85% damage and
the ability
insta knock
just to
you
like
up.
immediately kind of like throw out instant CC into the team fight was just really, really oppressive. It also does mean that it makes it hard for us to buff him elsewhere. So if he needs buffs after this, you're actually going to be a lot more comfortable giving him buffs because he's not just going to
won't even need a buff.
instantaneously apply.
He's
giant
still
AoE to the
insane.
team. Like,
All his abilities
it's essentially
are
like
instant.
you could kind of range gibble the team, right?
Yeah,
And
I think it's
he feels
it was
really good to play,
strong,
but he
and I
is
think the only
broken.
reason people didn't realize how strong it was is because he's not ultra popular because he's relatively hard to play. You know,
Yeah.
so if you don't run into it a lot,
I don't think
then,
he's even that
maybe you wouldn't
hard
see
to
it.
play anymore.
But now
it kind of
it's
took
kind of
away
like
a
when
lot of
we,
the hard to play aspects.
You know,
of
I
him.
think the buff that we were able to do to Hecate's to this patch kind of follows on from some of the changes that we were able to make with
for the
mode specific balance and whatnot. So, hopefully this is improvement. Next, Thanatos will be getting a fix. We fixed an issue where the damage of his hovering death would not trigger item effects. Pawn, tell me about the novel of a bug report that we got that helped fix this.
So the guy who sent this in, he could have just told me like, hey, this item isn't working. He actually did go and test every single item and listed every single item that wasn't working.
That's funny.
On our end, it needed to be tagged properly. It was a one tag fix that fixed all these cases. But it was a very, very, very thorough report.
That's funny.
I do appreciate thorough reports. Thank you to the guy who said that.
Mori aspect nerf?
I think we need to pour one out for, I'm going to say his name wrong, Matharia? Is that the actual pronunciation?
Runer.
Okay.
Runer.
I'm well aware of the Morrigan enjoyer, who will unfortunately be enjoying her a little bit less after this aspect nerf. Aspect of mischief, confusion, increasing the cooldown from 15 seconds to 17 to 15 seconds.
Okay.
Decreasing the movement speed buff from
Okay.
30 scaling to 40% to flat 30%.
Oh.
Decreasing the movement speed buff duration and refire time from 3 to 5 seconds to 3 seconds. And that's what we got.
So this means that now when you're playing against the aspect of mischief Morgan, the kind of bait out window time that you have to like figure out who's the real one, who's the fake, and if they swapped is now a pretty consistent 3 seconds, right? Like when you're playing against Chalk and he throws out an action, you're playing that minigame of is he going to teleport? Is he not going to teleport? Am I going to try and cut him off? 5 seconds is a really big window of time to play around. 3 is just going to make this a lot easier to approach. The consistent movement speed buff is also another change to this ability that's going to just consistent. And because we basically removed all other scaling factors of this, we added the cooldown. Now you have a reason to also rank this ability, which is to get it more quickly. We know that this aspect in particular can really introduce some frustration. This should make it more manageable and approachable. It's still usable to trick out people. But it is a pretty
it's a sizable nerf.
It is a sizable nerf to this playstyle.
This is probably one of the biggest nerfs.
Of, like, things that we want to be resolving.
Anything has ever gotten.
Time where we have a few bugs we want to fix and a few other things. But
a few
bugs.
That is a nuke.
But this aspect has also been similar to like the Susano case. It's kind of always been a limiting factor because we know that if we go too far with the Morrigan, like she can become really, really oppressive really, really fast. And this in particular is one of those aspects that we were really worried about. So if this is now more in control, we could also look in other places to buff the Morrigan.
Yeah, she can get buffs elsewhere now, but that is
as well.
broken.
But our aspect system allows us to separate it out, but we also want to not make them too complicated and tooltip heavy of like, okay, because this aspect exists, we're now going to do 50 bullet points of other balance changes. We want the characters to feel somewhat consistent between the two. So this should hopefully give us some more room in the future.
Awesome. Next, we have Ymir, a buff for tank Ymir, a nerf to damage Ymir.
Yes.
Why are we nerfing
I don't know how I should
damage
feel
Ymir?
about this, but let's just read what we're doing.
So real quick,
okay.
Ymir's underperforming as a whole, just across the board.
Not a surprise.
He's underperforming?
Yeah, he is.
That's crazy.
He's
I feel
very
like
popular.
he's so
They've nerfed
good.
him
People
so
like
much.
him. I think he has moments of high impact.
Yeah.
Like the times you get frozen and die from it, you notice.
Yeah.
The times that he crits you for 1,000 off like popping dagger frenzy and it's late
Yeah.
game and he's 20-0 in a game that's a stomp and he kills you that fast. Like you feel it, right?
Yeah.
But like his actual overall performance has been pretty underwhelming across the board in all modes.
Interesting.
So this the goal here is to help out, especially the tank.
You
style
saw a
play.
damage buff or a base damage buff to Glacial
Strike.
Strike.
He's 2. The damage will be increasing from 90 to 310 to 90 to 330. We are decreasing the added strength scaling on it from 55% to 45%.
Yes.
His Frost Breath, his 3. The stun duration is decreasing from 1 to 1.6 to 1 to 1.4, but we're adding new plus 0.2 stun duration for every 100 protection from items up to 0.4 seconds. So it could be 1.8
probably
if you have 400
don't put
protections from
points
items.
into this
Yeah,
anymore.
and we think that this is a good. So essentially, if you're going the kind of strength really damage focused Ymir style,
Pretty sure
play,
you don't put points into
you'll
this
have
anymore.
less scaling, but you'll have a bit more early game pressure as you're ranking up Glacial Strike. But your Frost Breath won't contribute as much stun power. You'll have less lockdown time to be able to just kind of wail on them.
Yeah, I'm pretty
But if
sure
you're
you
playing
don't
tank
put
style
points
Ymir
into his
where after
3
seconds of
anymore.
protection,
There's
you
like
can
never
get
a
pretty
way
meaty stun. And
or a
because he's
reason for
slow, he's
0.1
not super
seconds to
mobile.
be
If he gets in range of you and
moved
realize
up.
that stun, that's really what he contributes.
And
So we wanna
especially
make
with
sure
buffing
that
the
felt
2,
impactful for him.
And we've also decreased the mana
probably
cost on
just
this from
two-maxing a
40
lot
to
of the
80
time
to
now.
40 to 60.
Yep.
And then for his ultimate, we have increased the protection damage scaling from 30%
Wait,
to
that's
45%.
a crazy buff.
Yeah, even this isn't actually that much more damage. It just means that if you are building more protection focused, you will have a ult that hits pretty hard.
Okay.
That is kind of a big buff.
And then on to items. And there aren't a lot of item buffs and debuffs this update.
Yeah. Our buffs and like you see a lot of ours are fixes because we actually spent
nerfs, not debuffs. I'm a dummy. Okay, go for it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but we had like a lot of fixes in this one.
Yeah.
But the fixes that we did do are going to be a bit more impactful in terms of balance changes. There's a lot of things that we had this patch going on, but like one of them was also like we had a lot of like big fixes that we were able to get in.
So for item balance,
Not positive, but I'm pretty sure
Blink.
Spirit Robe gives you 100.
I teased this one a little bit. We are decreasing the cooldown of Blink from 180 seconds to 140 seconds.
Yep.
And we have fixed the tooltips that were wrong that said it was a 90 seconds.
Yeah,
it wasn't
Nerf
supposed to be
Sunder.
90.
Yeah, so
Wait,
when
wait.
we rewrote every
Perfect
single tooltip,
patch,
we had like a
buff
snapshot
Blink,
of the
buff
tooltip
Aegis,
stuff.
Yep.
We
Nerf
also
Sunder.
did have to literally go through every single tooltip.
Those
and
three
adjust
things,
them and
yes.
rewrite them.
Support's
we made some
fixed.
mistakes on some of them. This was said it
Nerf
was 90
Sunder.
seconds cooldown. It wasn't. It was 180. It's been 180 the whole time. It's going to 140.
Just kill-
Blink, we
kill-
just think has
kill
room to go
Sunder,
up,
man.
especially now that it's not
Buff
combat
Aegis?
Blink.
Yeah, Aegis is underwhelming.
So, and we've seen that its usage and win rate has dropped a little bit over time. This should just bring it back more in line,
Probably.
especially because it now has a bit more competition from.
There's an
Blade
actual
Belt.
timing with it, Dest, where Dominion
Aegis
Ymir ult is
acceleration
broken.
buff.
I'll
We
show it
fixed
to you
an
after.
issue
Don't let me
where
forget.
this was just Aegis. It was not Aegis of acceleration. It was
Oh.
not granting the bonus movement speed at all. This has likely been broken for some time. Our current estimate is that it never worked.
Wow.
And it would pretty seriously affect
What's the movement
its overall
speed?
strength.
Does anybody know?
When I looked at it, I'm like, it's been broken for at least a year, assuming that it ever worked. So now it works.
Yes.
And this is another relic that could also use a buff. So fixing this is just good.
Yeah. So,
7%.
If for those of you who
For
don't know,
6
Aegis stores up kind of the damage that you took while you were Aegis.
What?
Yes.
And it's supposed to give you a movement speed buff after the Aegis pops.
Yeah.
Like after you are no longer damage immune. But that just wasn't working.
Yeah, we went to go buff it, and we're like, I can't get this to trigger.
Yes.
And it's just, I guess no one said.
And as far as I know, we did not get bug reports about this.
Yeah,
This was
which,
not a.
which is wild. Like,
Yeah.
This is really weird because like we would also expect bug reports. We just didn't like, and we get a lot of bug reports.
Yeah, we get
today.
so many bug reports, and they're very useful. Like we fix so many things that come in via bug reports. This is one we just like nobody mentioned it. We're like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah. So this will help it.
Yeah. So maybe Aegis will be really good now. I mean, it's currently really good anyway.
it's
right?
about-
But-
People,
right
people
here,
do
this
buy
much.
Aegis. It does.
That's a
perform
good
worse
amount of
than
movement speed.
beats. Like when I talk like
That
all
is
our
a
relics,
good
by the
amount of
way, are
movement
like
speed.
this most overperforming one is like a 51% win rate, and the least performing one is like a 49% win
Okay.
rate.
They're not
Like,
they're not
all
nerfing
actually
Sunder.
Very
Shame.
close with each other.
Okay.
As a whole, but they're also really commonly built every game. They have a lot of sample rates, so they kind of all trend towards 50. So that the little differences are there, and like they are meaningful. But like you can pick any of these, and you'll be able to be successful in game.
The Reaper is getting a buff. We are increasing the stack duration from 5
to 6
5
seconds.
to 6 seconds. We're increasing the starting stack count from 3 to 4.
3 to 4.
And new, killing a god immediately maxes your current stacks.
Yep. So we're gonna make it so that when you actually get the stacks on
That's a
you,
pretty decent
they last
nerf.
longer, so you
Oh,
can
sorry,
use them more
buff.
effectively.
That's a nice buff.
Increasing the starting stack count just means that when you do trigger its effect, you'll be getting more strength up front from the item.
Mm-hmm.
It also means you have more deaths before you hit the low end. And yeah, when you kill a god, we want that moment to feel super impactful. So
Yeah,
you
they're
also get
buffing
to feel at
Glad
that
Shield while
moment.
buffing
You'll also
protections
max out
on
your crit
Ymir
stats for that max.
and
so like if
Mulan.
you start a fight as like Thanatos,
I actually wonder if
so you
Ymir
land and
solo would be
execute something,
broken.
you're now in the middle of the fight with a bonus stack at max stacks Reaper. So this should just make the item just
It's
feel
actually a
lot
good
better
call.
to use.
Awesome. Glad Shield's getting a buff. Surprised on that one. I feel like it's good already, but apparently
This
it needs a little
reminds
more.
me.
Yeah, of the like bruiser
to
pro
know
items, it
how
has
much
kind of
crit
fallen off and has
chance
remained fallen off.
Rage is
so we think
giving.
it's safe at this point to buff it up because
get
if it's
extra
strong, it'll probably it'll
percent
be competing with other things you
every
need in that build. So
kill.
it's not like we're bringing up the overall power of that build style. We're just giving you a different choice here.
Awesome. And we're just giving 5 more physical protections and 25 more health on it.
Yep.
And then Helm of Radiance, a shift. The cost is going to go up from 23 to 2,500. We're giving it 10 more intelligence, 10 more physical protections. The max stack count is going down from 6 to 4.
Yeah, but it doesn't tell you. Like,
So it's
you don't know
0
how many
stacks,
kills you
it has
have
10
when you
more
finish
physical
stacking it.
protections,
You'll
and max
lose.
stacks. It has 4
You'll
less
lose track of
physical
how much
protections.
crit chance you're actually
This
getting
item is
from
really
rage.
meant for the situation where you're like
23
kind of
up to
a squishy mage,
25,
and you really
55 to
need some
65,
physical
35
damage, or you need,
procs,
physical
4
procs,
stacks total.
Its stat budget was really too low.
Wait, this
to be
item is
supported in that
broken.
build style, so that's why the cost went up, so we could give it some more intelligence. But that's also why we moved more protections to the base amount of the item. It still stacks up to a pretty good amount, but you have more upfront
This
protection
item is
from
broken.
like probably the first big hit that the like assassin jumping you is going to deal.
Awesome. And I think that's it for items this
That
time.
item is broken.
I do have some bug fixes, and I do have something else in game to look at, which is the new item building system.
Yes,
What's it called again? The
Essential.
Essential. There you go. So bug
show
fixes.
you.
We just have a couple listed on here. We fixed an issue where Ganesha Turn of Fate could kill you if
Plus
you use
10%
Fire Giant
additional
Dagger.
critical strike chance.
Because you.
That's a Turn of Fate right there.
that would
Wait,
because you stun yourself
trolling.
if you would revive. But that stun happens before it processes the damage immunity, so the mark then does
Oh,
the damage.
it's I'm trolling.
Morja
man.
Danza
I'm
dashes going through
trolling.
enemies.
Yeah, that's a big
I don't know how to
one.
read.
Has been fixed. We are also still looking at some Mercury stuff. I know.
Yeah,
so.
we have so Mercury.
I don't know how to
I know the
fucking
ult in
read.
particular. I have a path to try and make the ult feel better and like not pass through targets as much. So we're gonna try and get that
I
in.
swear.
It'll probably be next patch, but we'll see where we can fit it in.
Baron aspect was unintentionally giving damage reduction.
Yeah, that was supposed to be removed with the aspect, so
That's
make
the
it so
Baron
that
bug?
you're
That's
not contributing
crazy.
as much willingness to yourself.
And I love this note. We fixed an issue with Soul Meltdown forgetting one of her jokes. She now recalls going on an unexpected date with Ymir.
I don't know
really funny.
how.
Yeah,
to
very well worded. Thank you,
flare.
Kellen, for putting that in there.
I thought
And I'm going to go back to us for a second
was
while I
10%
swap
per
around
kill.
to in-game to look at the Essential Item Store. And I have to make sure I have the Essential Item Store turned on. And I am in dev, so I need to also make sure that I don't do other stuff that's not done yet. Yeah, so that is our balance for this upcoming update.
60% total. It is
UI. Okay, it's on. Okay.
20, 40, 50.
I'm just gonna do. I guess versus AI would work,
Or
or should I just do like a custom?
Custom's probably just gonna be the easiest
Okay.
to show it off.
I'm gonna do
Because versus
custom,
AI, it should work in versus AI. But we
custom-
have that bug that we're fixing that you might run into.
all right. I'm gonna add bots.
Do you want me to kind of explain the system
Yeah.
while you're getting it up?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the goal here is we want to create basically a transition. Like we've seen that the kind of pick 3 system in the quick play has done really, really well with players. Like they get to feel like they make choices, but it's a kind of a simplified decision making. They get to start learning some of the items that exist in the game, but they're not overwhelmed with like the sheer amount of items that are presented to them.
Yep.
But when they leave quick play, they go straight from that experience to here's the full item store with all of its complexity.
Yeah.
Go. And that is a really jarring experience.
It's rough.
So the goal of this essential is to essentially bring those players who are quick play players more towards the standard Smite to store experience.
I'm mid lane. Who's a good mid laner to show this off? Does it matter?
Agni would probably be good.
Okay, Agni.
And so with
Agni.
this system, essentially, this store will present you similar to the quick play experience. It'll present you items like a build to build. When you build that item, it'll take you to a section of the store that is like, here's the 3 items we recommend for you. Here's also consumables that you can buy. And when you go to buy them, instead of like quick play where you can only buy the item once you have all the gold to buy it, you can buy them in pieces. So when you start building one of the items, it shows you, yeah, you're making progress toward this item. Here's the tree on the right side explaining where you are in it. And it's basically an introduction to, now that you're playing a different mode out of quick play, you're going to be building these pieces together.
Ooh, I might have picked the wrong mode. I'm gonna see once I load it. I'm
Okay.
like this mode might have something in it I can't actually show, and I might have to start a new match.
Oh, sure,
Yeah.
sure. Fair enough. So yeah, this is essentially our way of teaching those players, okay, now you get gold, you build items partially, you build these components together, come back when you have some more to finish the item out. Here's some consumables that you can buy. We've also made some just flow improvements to both quick play and this to help support it. So like one thing is, for example, it shows you included consumables that you're gonna buy.
Yeah.
It also gives you, Keely, a relic choice, because in quick play you only get agility relic. Now you actually have a choice of relics to build.
So
yeah,
I
you
am
can kind of
Agni.
go through the flow.
I'm a mid laner. What should I pick? Ability damage.
I want to see the Glad Shield buff
We'll
again.
see
I feel like I
the
didn't talk about that one
Uh,
much.
Morja Danza dashes going through enemy.
Increased physical protection from 20 to 25 and also increasing the max health. Okay. There's actually like some pretty sizable buffs to Ymir. The problem is there's not really a great first item that gives you solid physical and magical protections. Like, Binding is fine. It might, in a lot of matchups, it might be Magi's, because Magi's is so broken. Magi's is so broken right now. Magi's into Glad Shield, so this is giving you... In 2 items, you're getting 55 physical protections, 200 health, 10 cooldown, 35 magical protections. You're getting a bubble, and you're doing extra damage based on your item protections.